Hi, I'm Shadan Ardalan, and I am a rocket scientist at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Yes, I am a real live rocket scientist. But what I do specifically is I am a navigator on the Cassini spacecraft that's orbiting Saturn as we speak. And the way I describe my job as a navigator is, well, I like using, pop culture analogies, and one of my favorites, or two of my favorites, are, remember in the movie Airplane, you had Peter Graves, the pilot, you had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the co-pilot, and you had a guy sitting behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He was a navigator. But probably less, kind of obscure is Sulu on Star Trek. He was a navigator. What inspired me to become a rocket scientist was, of all things, the $6 Million Man. And basically, I wanted to be the Bionic Man. And he was an astronaut who worked for NASA, so I figured in order to become the Bionic Man, I had to work for NASA and become an astronaut. Well, as you can imagine, probably around the same time I learned where there was no such thing as Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, I also found out there was no such thing as bionics. But at least there was something as NASA, and that there was a space program, and I was getting older and just fell in love with the romanticism of space and just all the awesome images that were coming down from Voyager and Pioneer. And so it was just something that I knew I wanted to be a part of in my life. My favorite part of being a rocket scientist and working for NASA is that I am an active part of history being made. And even though my name will probably never be anywhere in like a textbook, because it's the scientists that make the discoveries. I am, if you will, I'm the school bus driver that has all these school kids that taking them on the ultimate field trip. And so basically I'm taking all these scientists to Saturn, showing them around, and there they are with their cameras taking pictures and collecting data. But I'm a part of that, and really I've been blessed to work on many other missions, Galileo for one, but one that really comes to mind is Deep Impact. And if you recall, Deep Impact was the spacecraft that a couple years ago actually smashed into a comet. And let me tell you, hitting a comet on purpose, way harder than crashing on accident. But it was just so neat to be in the control room when that was happening, and it was just a very special time. So just being a part of history is just really my favorite part. But I also enjoy just the intellectual curiosity. It lets me explore that, and there's a certain amount of creativity even in my job, because we are basically answering the questions that have yet to be answered. The origins of the solar system, and just why things are the way they are. And so another really cool part of this is that we're rewriting the science textbooks, really on almost a daily basis. Just a few weeks ago, news came out that the rings of Saturn are older than we really thought they were, because since the rings were studied by Voyager over 20 years ago, they thought the rings were like 100 million years old. And now we've collected more data and given it more thought, and now we're saying, oh my God, no, we're wrong. These rings are really more like 4.5 billion years old. And so there's all of this thought that's being put into the science, and basically people are, it's just, there's this freedom to say, you know what, maybe what we thought originally wasn't correct, and maybe this is the way it really is. There's another thing I really enjoy about this work is, it's one thing to see the results in a science textbook or in a journal or in the newspapers. It's kind of where I would expect to see it when a major story comes out. Like we were on the cover of National Geographic about a year and a half ago. But it's seeing our work in unexpected places. Like a few years ago, my wife and I, we went on a trip to Oregon and Washington, and we went to Mount St. Helens. And Mount St. Helens, they have these visitor centers, and at one of the visitor centers, they were talking about volcanoes, educating people, the public, about how a volcano works, what a volcano is. And right there, they had images from Io. Io is one of the moons of Jupiter, and it's a very volcanic moon of Jupiter. It's actually the most volcanic body in our solar system. And they had an image of Io there that I helped take when I was working on Galileo. And so it was just really just special to see my work out there for the public, to, for public display, in a context that was completely outside of space, or like the Air and Space Museum, or it was just someplace I just never would have expected to see it. So, thank you for your time.